Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now to our interview with the first guest of the day. I am joined by the Commissioner for Information and Strategy in Imo State, Declan Emelumba, for discussion on Imo politics. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. Welcome to Politics Tonight.
Thank you very much.
Right, so congratulations to you and your party. How will you describe the victory?
Well, thank you very much. The victory is a very sweet one because His Excellency, the Governor of Imo State, worked very hard for it. And I believe that when you work hard and you achieve victory, you savour it very well. So it's a sweet victory. He worked hard. Everybody around him, the party, political appointees, Imo State people, trade unions, and all very relevant groups in Imo State all worked very hard because they love this man. This is a man who has come and made a difference. He has shown that you can manage the resources of the state transparently and honestly. And when you do that, you achieve results. That's why you have a lot to show for his first tenure in office. So the victory is very, very wonderful one, very sweet victory. And all of us are savoring that victory.
Right, so I remember 2 days before the election, Governor Uzodinma was here on Politics Tonight with so much confidence that he would win this election. And I also know that you were on some of our other programs as well with so much confidence. But despite opposition threats, what gave you such confidence?
Well, you know, like I even told you that day, I remember that I was on this very channel, I think less than a week to the election. And I told you that if you come to Imo State, if you do an opinion survey, you'll find that 7 out of 10 people you will talk to will tell you that they will vote for the re-election of Governor Uzodinma. And that's simply because he has done so much. Now, you will have confidence if you are going into a battle, knowing that you prepared very well for it. There is nothing that gives you confidence more than a record of achievements. More than looking back, you see that you have impacted on the lives of people, that you have done so well. And that these are things people can see. Anybody who comes to Imo State today will tell you that what is this today, you can't compare it to what it was 4 years ago. Virtually all the roads in Imo were not motorable as of 4 years ago. Today, the roads are the motorist delight. And is it youth empowerment? Is it education? The governor has done so well. So the confidence in winning was derived from the fact that he is sure of what he has done. And moreover, he has also campaigned so hard, so vigorously, as if he was going to battle with titans. And that is the way to go if you are going into a battle, no matter how how weak your opponent might be. But like I told you that day, the opposition, those who were contesting with him, were hardly known, you know, and the results have shown it. They were hardly known by Imo people. And they didn't even make any serious effort to present an alternative to the governor. All they were saying was, we'll make him safe again and all that, which was a very tepid way of campaigning. It showed he had no program. But in addition, the governor also supported something that Imo people have been looking up to, and that is what they call Imo Charter of Equity. Imo Charter of Equity, as he said today in his acceptance speech, is a program or a doctrine designed to ensure that the 3 zones in Imo State, 3 senatorial zones in Imo State, Olo, Owerri, and Okigwe, have the opportunity for peaceful transfer of power to them. That is to say, when this zone finishes, it goes to another zone. And this has been on, but no governor ever really had the courage to make it like a statue for the people. This governor has done that because when the Elders Council and religious leaders came up with the idea, he bought into it. And the same people, the Elders Council, traditional rulers, and religious leaders, went round, pleaded with people, this is a good program. Let this thing be rotating so that there won't be much acrimony for this power. So the people bought into it. So ordinarily, because the Charter of Equity said, since the governor has done so well, he deserves a second tenure. So we start from Olu, let him finish his second tenure, then he moves to another zone. So ordinarily, these other zones were not supposed to produce candidates. But like the governor said, you can't abolish the constitutional right of the people. So they produced. But the people, through their vote, said, well, we believe in the Charter of Equity. And so that was another major factor that also drove his victory. Two major factors: his performance and in office, and then the Charter of Equity. So with all these factors on ground, it was not difficult for him to have moved into that election with so much confidence.
So it's also interesting to see that despite fears about violence concerning the election in Imo State, it was peaceful. How did that happen?
Well, first of all, like I also said before the election, that Saturday's election was not the first in this election cycle. We did presidential election here. We did the National Assembly election, which two of them were the same day. Then we did House of Assembly election. And all of them turned out to be peaceful because Imo people are peace-loving people. Forget about the hype of insecurity and so on. But in this particular one, the people were eager to come and vote for a man who has done so well for them. And nobody was going to stop them. They were ready to organize themselves orderly, peacefully, because they also knew that doing anything to the contrary could deny them the opportunity of participating in the democratic process that will elect the man they love. However, the presence of security agencies also helps. The government provided sufficient security agencies, both military, police, and other paramilitary organizations. So, the place was well policed in terms of security agencies. And so there was really no room for people to do any thing untoward. Even though I know that the people tried here and there to do one or two things, but it was, when you put it together, very insignificant. So by and large, the election was peaceful because the people were determined to make it peaceful. They didn't want anybody to disrupt the process that will help them re-elect the government. And because majority of the people, a vast majority of the people, were already decided where to vote, there was not going to be much acrimony. This acrimony happens most times when there is a sharp division among the electorate. Majority, some supporting, a good number supporting here, another number. So, in the process, clashes come. But this one is like almost 70–80% of the people were decided on where to vote. So there was no need for any quarrel or any acrimony whatsoever. So these factors put together made the election very, very peaceful. And I think is one of the most peaceful so far in the history of Imo State.
But how would you react to some political parties and their candidates who have rejected the outcome of this governorship election, citing manipulation? Like the candidate of the Labour Party, Senator Ajono, who has described this election as the worst electoral heist on Imo State. How would you react to that?
Well, my dear, it's very easy for somebody, particularly when you have lost in a contest, to pick holes with the process. But the question you ask is this. The man you mentioned, like the Labour Party candidate, Atan Ashon, who is saying this is the worst election and so forth and so on. The question I think that should be asked, put to him is he making any case that he won the election? Because it is not enough to pick holes with the process. But because what he's doing is like, since I can't enter the house, let me destroy it. Because if he's telling you that even if he removes all the votes that he claims were bloated or whatever, that if he remove these votes, then I would have won or I won. He's not making any case to show that he won. All he's saying is that the election there were malpractices and so on and so forth. So if that is the case, you have accepted that you lost because the election, it was, people witnessed the election. It wasn't done in secret. Journalists monitored it. Observers monitored it. And the majority opinion is that it was free, fair, and credible. And they are saying it wasn't so. Produce the evidence. It's not enough to shout wolf when and then you think that everybody will run away. Produce the evidence, but most importantly, anybody making a case in an election contest like this, I think the concentration should be that you were denied victory because you won. But nobody's saying that. They're not saying that. They've admitted that they lost. But unfortunately, I don't want to believe that they are sore losers, because sore losers will always want to destroy what they didn't get. But I think that anybody who is being honest and God-fearing, we know that this election was free, fair, and credible, and that Governor Uzodinma won the election clean and square. That is the truth of the matter. There's no amount of picking holes that will make it less credible. This is one of the most peaceful and most credible elections that has happened in Imo State for a very long time.
Right, so let's move away from election matters. Let's talk about governance. Governor Uzodinma has won a second term in office. What does this mean for the people of Imo State?
Well, for the people of Imo State, I'm sure that what it means, that it means a lot of things. One is that it means continuation of a transparent, honest, and accountable government. This is the first governor that, to the best of my knowledge, that has shown that you can run government in a very honest and transparent manner. In his first 4 years, there was no scandal of financial misappropriation. There was no scandal of trying to appropriate Imo people's patrimony. There was no scandal of abuse of office or any form of that. So he showed throughout the first 4 years that he's a man who is accountable to the people and is honest and transparent. Indeed, it might interest you to know that because of the transparent manner he ran the government, he won cash awards, dollar-backed cash awards from CEFTAS, which is a United Nations agency that rewards governments that run transparent processes of governance, particularly the budgetary system. So he won that award severally, totaling over $50 million US, because of the accountable and transparent manner he has run the government. And that has never happened in the history of Imo State. So that will continue, there's no doubt. What also will continue is inclusiveness of Imo people in the governance. This is the only governor, I can tell you, that made it almost a statutory obligation to hold stakeholders meeting every quarter, where he will bring in stakeholders who will look at his governance, look at his scorecard every 3 months, and criticize and make inputs. And so they become part of the process of governance. That will continue. What will also continue is vision, a visionary approach to government, a vision that will bring more dividends of democracy, bring more projects, and bring more infrastructural development, particularly the dredging of Orash River Uguta Orash to the Atlantic. That will continue. And I'm sure that in the next 4 years, that project will be realized, and that will change the economic landscape of both Imo State and the Southeast. So a lot. And I think what is even more important is that this governor would have established a legacy that will end the acrimony of struggling for governorship of Imo State. So we now be peaceful transfer of power from one zone to the other. All these are the things Igbo people would expect.
So I hear you, but Mr. Declan, this is Nigeria. We're very familiar with how most administrations perform better in first term than second term. What assurance will you give more people that this won't be their case?
Well, it depends on who is on the driving seat. But I can tell you that this governor is determined to leave a legacy. He's not that kind of governor that will say because he has second tenure, he wouldn't mind what happens. He's very conscious of leaving a legacy behind. I can tell you that he will even do better. He will improve on what he has done so far, and he will do better. And by the end of his second tenure, you will, if we have opportunity to sit down like this and assess his performance, you will see that he has done far better than he did in the first tenure. So I don't think that second tenure syndrome will affect him. I am very, very confident that as a man of history, as a man who has his eyes on what legacy that he wants to leave behind, he will do everything to continue with the tradition he has already established, which is transparency, accountability, efficiency, service delivery, and infrastructural development. I think it will continue along those lines.
Right. So, Honorable Doctor, tell us, how does the administration intend to surpass its first-term achievement in practical terms?
To surpass its first tenure in terms of achievements, is that what you're saying?
That's it.
Okay. Well, I think I've almost practically outlined it. Because, first of all, it is the same man who has shown passion for good governance that will still be in charge. And that passion will not wane because he has won a second tenure. And I also believe that that same man also has a knack for getting people around him who will share in that his vision and who will be part of the translation of that his vision. I believe that he will do all this and more to make sure that he is in a position to surpass his performance in the first tenure. Because, having done so well, he has no choice than to move forward. He has to beat his own record. And that is the challenge he has. And I can assure you that he has all it takes to be able to do that.
So let's focus on infrastructure development. What plans has this administration to raise the bar in the second term?
Well, already the governor has done quite a lot in terms of infrastructure development, and that includes some of the, particularly road infrastructure. And there's an ongoing road for now between Owerri and Umuahia, passing through Obo in Okigwe zone. So that road definitely is almost 70% or 80% completed. It will be completed, and that is a major road that will open up access to a lot of activities between Imo and Abia and other local governments. That road and other ones that he will do, there's an ongoing road also between Uguta and Olu, which is also going to be dualized. And there's a road that is going to do, I'm sure of that, between Olu, Umbe to Akopa. That one is also a very important economic artery road in the state. So there will be a lot more of such roads that I'm sure he will handle in his second term. He's not going to rest on his laurels. He's going to continue. And I've already mentioned the dredging of Oraj, which will continue at even a higher tempo. And I'm sure that this second tenure also, he will look at what he has already started, which is to revive moribund industries, which he started with Adapam. I'm sure the next focus he has already started, but now maybe at a higher tempo, the shoe factory and modern poultry, and quite a number of things. But I think most importantly, in terms of human infrastructure too, human capital development, there is a Skill Up Imo program, which is novel, which is very, very unique. And Imo State, by the way, is the first state that has established Ministry of Digital Economy and E-Governance. And through that ministry, the government has been able to train and equip at least 30,000 youths with digital economy. And 40,000 are now undergoing training. They have started, and the objective is to empower over 300,000 Imo youths with digital economy and digital skills, that will enable them to either be self-employed or be employable, easily employable. So I'm sure he will also intensify on this program of human capital development, which is like human infrastructure development, because when you equip our young ones to have the necessary skills to get employment or be self-employed, you are directly energizing the overall economy, and all that will translate to a lot of infrastructural development, particularly within the small-scale industry level. So it's going to go ahead, like I said, to try to beat his own record, which I'm sure he also has the capacity to do.
All right. So I'd like you to also give us an update on this feud between Imo State government and organized labor over alleged unpaid salary. Has the state government made any effort to reach a truce with labor?
Well, honestly, that is a very interesting area. There is no friction between Imo State government and organized labor. You know, the truth which people must understand is that when the governor came in January 2020, he did first of all, he cleared backlog of salaries owed judges and other people. So, and then automated the system and sanitized it in such a manner that salaries were now paid regularly, promptly, as and when due. And remember, that was against the backdrop of a previous administration where salaries were whimsically paid. Salary of civil servants was even cut to 70% and was not even paid as and when due. But he cleared all these things and standardized the process. Now, in the process, the national leadership of Nigerian Labour Congress came to Imo State and met with the governor on 19th of January 2021. And after all interactions and interface, they were satisfied that the governor was doing well, and a communique was issued. And that communique, the first line in that communique was that they commended the government for paying salaries and pensions regularly and as when due, even in difficult times. Then they also talked about the need to pay minimum wage and check off dues to unions and so on, and agreed to set up a tripartite committee between NLC, TUC, and the government to be meeting regularly to make sure that a labor-government relationship moved smoothly. The government immediately set up that committee. And along the line, the government started paying minimum wage of 30,000, which was increased recently to 40,000 after the removal of fuel subsidy. The same thing with check-off dues, pensioners, everybody, things were moving well, and government had a robust relationship with labor. This lasted for 2 years or more, until in April this year, when April last year, sorry, when our own son emerged as the NLC president. So then, just from nowhere, he started what nobody could understand. Then the relationship began to go sour. The people, the chairman of the industrial unions in Imo State here, different industrial unions, when he came up with this bogus idea that the state government was owing workers 22 months' salary, the chairman, the different union leaders here said, how can you reconcile this? In January 2021, the same NLC, which you are now president, came here and commended the governor for paying salaries regularly. How come that 1 year after or so, they are now owing, the same government is owing 22 months salary, which means the government was never paying. And then they were trying everything to make him understand that there is no problem. We are having a good, robust relationship with the government. But he kept insisting.
So my question is this. In the face of all this, have you made any attempt, or has the state government made any attempt to reach a truce with organized labor at the national level?
Well, that's what I'm trying to explain to you. If the essence of labor-government relationship is to make sure that the welfare of workers is attended to. And if the local leadership of the unions here are saying loud and clear every day that we don't have a problem. So the question of making efforts to reach the truce also with the national leadership becomes something that, yes, it might be important, but not as important as ensuring that the things you are supposed to do, you are doing that with the labor, which is to make sure that we... No, I've not said that. But to answer your question directly, I would like to let you know that when Comrade Ajera emerged... Hello?
On a final
I'd
note,
like to let you know that when Comrade Ajero emerged the chairman and NS.
Honorable Declan, what's your message to the
Hello?
people ahead of the
Hello?
inauguration? All right, please go ahead. Make your final point.
Well, before that message, yes, I want to, yes, I want to let you know that the government made every effort on the emergence of Comrade Ajero as the NSC president to reach out to him, extend the hand of friendship, even organized a reception for him as the son of Imo State, and set up a committee to do that. But he snubbed the government and left. So it became even more difficult to maintain the robust relations we were having with Labour before. But the government is still open to making sure that we don't have any problem. And really, we don't have any problem with Labour. We don't have any problem at all, both at the local level and at the national level. The only problem we have is that our son is the president, and he doesn't seem to be looking at Imo State with an objective mind. He seems to be looking at Imo State with a jaundiced political mind because he's a member of Labour Party. But be that as it may, the message I would say, as you asked me about my final message to Imo people after the victory of His Excellency, distinguished Senator Uzodinma, is that they should rest and be assured that they are in for better days ahead. I think that if it is a flight, we have reached cruising altitude. So they should, losing their seatbelts, relax, because wonderful days are coming. And His Excellency, I'm sure this is second tenure, will make Imo State far, far better emphasized than he made the state in 2020. And it will translate to more jobs for the people, more infrastructure, more security, safer Imo State, and a lot of other goodies. That is my message.
All right. Thank you so much, Honorable Commissioner for Information and Strategy in Imo State, Declan Emelumba. Thank you so much for joining us on Politics Tonight, and congratulations once again. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.